Oh, give it a minute. Yeah, the scenery. Same scenery that I've known for about a year now. It's just clearing up. We had a thunderstorm last night. It's starting to clear up. The clouds are starting to darken. So it could probably rain later on today, but that aside, it's pretty interesting now that I got like some sort of I guess, a real job. I guess. Um, by that I mean that I'm working for an ownership union. I think it's called something along those lines. It's essentially a place to where like I don't make like an insane amount. Um, the retirement plan is there, so um, uh, now that I'm covered, like with insurance and stuff like that, like medical, dental, vision, stuff like that, don't have to worry about anything like that, like any casualties, so that's covered. And then the guaranteed full time 40 hours, no bullshit, which is what I wanted. I mean, I don't get the weekends off almost ever, but um, however, as you can see, this is around the time that I would be starting to work. The latest that I've seen the schedule for my position for people to start work is around like 12 o'clock and to get off around like 8:30 at night. So regardless of what shift I work, um, wait one time, I'd be able to pop up on here once I get things settled in after work, or go on my stream on Twitch and do that as well, which is what I like to do in my pastime. Despite the fact that I don't, well, these days I don't drink often anymore. Though I plan to get back into it as soon as I reconfigure my brain into what I want to consume exactly once I move. So no spot picked out yet. However, here's my idea. Like after I get a room, because I've talked to and done some research, saw how much money I was making, and like, okay, you know, I'm making pretty good even for California, right? So, and the job that I'm doing is not really all that strenuous. It is physical, but it's not the hardest I've ever done. And then on the back burner, I have my second job. Um, if I choose to keep it or not, it doesn't really matter. I'm just keeping it for now to boost up my income a little bit. Um, the thing is that after I get the room or whatever room I move into, which would be around June, because I still have some other stuff that I got to take care of at the place I'm living at right now. My friends are going on vacation, so again, they've gone on like 5 vacations, and I'm just sitting there like, man, I really wish I had a door, you know. So, which is sad. I shouldn't be living like that, but you know, four walls is four walls, so it's nothing to be too upset about. So after that, that's when the plans like started to go together. For now, all they all that I expected on myself is just keep my head down and work, and at a decent wage, I could do that. And then after I get the room, or whatever room that I get, I expect to pay her like $1,000 a month, and then I'm able to save up more and more from that, and then eventually I'll have enough, and this is the tricky part because I have never done anything like this before, but it keeps popping into my head, you know, of I used to live in this old apartment. It's a story time. This not an old apartment. Forgive me, but it's a decent apartment. It's not my old apartment. It's not my first apartment. But uh, back in the day, my friend was living with his pop, and his dad ended up remarrying, and my friend and uh, his mother-in-law at the time, or newly found mother-in-law at the time, could not get along for whatever reason. Right. Um, at the time, this is important. So what they devised, because my friend's dad is into the stock market, and he can, you know, just with a snap of a finger, he can do whatever. Uh, within within the realm of possibility. So what I'm trying to say is that his dad ended up paying for a full year at this apartment complex. It's a really nice apartment complex, and he said, "Okay, so now that I pay for this for a year, and I'm going to give you some extra money to live on per month, you work for me now," and that's pretty much what he had to do. Um, so because it was his first place by himself, and I had experience at the time living by, renting out an apartment, I opted to move in with him, and that's when I showed him like how to shop for groceries and stuff like that. Can't just live at your parents and eat fast food all the time. And then it was a nice apartment though, a really nice apartment, like pretty modernized. And I was, back then. This was like 2013. So back then I was with my girlfriend at the time, or my ex at the, my last ex, and I had a lot more fun. And this sounds really painful to say because it's just like, God damn it, But I had a lot more fun in that apartment than I did at the apartment that I had myself. Because there's a lot less drama because there's just two dudes like working, getting home, playing video games, eating and drinking beer. Pretty much it, and we got all of our, finances together, just working and earning our keep. So, um, and I want that apartment back. And it's not the exact same apartment, but there's the same layout that I looked into. And it's the exact same layout. I don't know if it's the exact same apartment. That'd be fucking a shot in the dark if I were ever to get the exact same apartment. But that'd be trippy, But anyway, my plan is, because my credit's poor and I don't make enough money to meet you got to earn 2.5 amount of rent per month. I don't meet that requirement. Technically, neither my friend's dad. However, the way he made his money was through stock, so it wasn't technically on paper. So my plan is to pretty much try and do the same thing, like save up enough money to where I could pay for an apartment for a full year, get a discount on it, obviously because you're giving money up front. Be like, hey, I plan to be here for a year. Boom, here's my money, kind of thing. And then slowly get back into knowing what it feels like to stay by myself. The apartment is about a mile away from where I'm working right now, so I can walk it pretty easily. This I can as well. It's just a little bit more strenuous. And the way that I'm working right now is, if I can't get a ride on the weekends, then I have to walk. But the weekdays, the city bus goes right towards there, so no vehicle necessary into what I'm planning. Um, but that's like a shot in the dark kind of thing. That's still like if I had to do the math myself easily, I'd have to save up 25K in order for me to do that. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, even if I was paying rent somewhere else for like a room at all, you know. But and that's why it came to my mind because it's like, oh, maybe I could, you know. And then like, yeah, I'm technically dropping money to an apartment, though. A lot of people say, "Oh, you probably shouldn't do that because you're putting down money for something that you don't own, and you know, renting is just throwing money in a pit." Sure, it is. However, if I have the full year to pay for it, that's all the money I could save up, and then just in case if I don't feel like I could do it in the next year, you know, because probably more than likely I would have plenty of money saved up to do it again after 1 year. There's a decent probability to where I'm like 2 months left, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this ain't for me. Maybe I need another plan. You know, there's nothing stopping that if it ever came down to that. I'm just you guys know me, right? Like, the reason why I get hotel rooms is because I'm kind of like fed up with living with other people because I don't own a place. And like, what bothered me about when I lived with my aunt, it was just like I was giving her rent money and then I had to abide towards everything. You know, and I've talked to a couple people on here about this too, but I've talked to my friend at the time as well. You know, there's at my aunt's house, if you're me or my dad, there's no drinking, no nothing like that. But they drink. You know, they have like beers and wine and stuff like that. And it's like, what the fuck? So, I just, when I pay for a place, I want it to be my rules. You know, I want it to be able to rent out an area to where I can, if I go out on a Friday night, if I can take a girl home, if it's probable, you know, stuff like that. Like, not that I'm like that, but a lot of these places are also is like, yeah, no overnight guests, no this, no that. And I understand it because like it's a safety hazard, but still, you know, that's just like I want to be able to have people over, kind of thing. So, um, there was a chance with one place that I was looking at in particular, and I think it's gone now, but there's a definitely high probable chance because technically it was like a 2-room, but you call it 1 bedroom bath, but it really kind of wasn't. So it was a strange layout, but I kind of dug it. Like you'd have a living room, dining room area with a fridge, and the bathroom was right next to the fridge. And I thought that was kind of weird. And then you go to the door, and then technically it's a bedroom, but it also has a fireplace. So it's like it's a weird setup. It's where like it's both of the rooms could have been perceived as a living room, but you kind of have to pick which one, and you probably don't want your bedroom with the room. I'm sorry, the room that had the fridge in the bathroom. That was the room that you walked into when you first walk into the door, and then it just had way too many windows for me. So for me to think like, oh, this is a bedroom. No, I don't know. It was a strange setup, but at that point, it is what it is. There's also these apartments right here. I've never seen before. I've seen the outlook or I never like seen it in the inside, but I've seen like a virtual tour. But these apartments are pretty expensive. So they're technically worth it, but it's also, I think if I remember correctly, like 2,300 a month, which if you're not, say that you make a 3,500 a month and you're paying 2,300 a month in rent. If you don't rely on a vehicle, that's totally easy to do, like completely easy. But problem is that California renters don't look at that at all. They look at it, it's like, oh, you have to be able to live comfortably. You have to make this much money, so we know we get it from you, so on and so forth. Because they don't want to go through the issue of essentially evicting somebody. They don't want that. So, but still, it's just like, well, in my opinion, just do a credit report, or with my plan, ask for the money up front. So, I mean, it's still, that's something like that's probably still a probability. But if I had to walk from here to work, and I am thinking about that place as well, because it is really nice, from what I've seen for the virtual tour. If I had to walk from where I'm at right now to my job, it'd probably be about a 40-minute walk. So it's like it's doable. So I don't know. It's all under everything's pretty much under consideration, and I'll show you, because this is the way that I took both of my jobs, or my last two jobs. One now that I can say the word I worked at, one at Red Robin and one at or the other at BJ's again for about a month and a half. BJ's was, I don't know what's happened to that corporation, but BJ's Restaurant Brewhouse here sucks. And it's just like the attitude of everybody just sucked. So that's why I ended up finding a new job. So, and then so what happened is that I called out one time because my brother needed me. And so I called out like 5 hours ahead of time. And what happened is that, so I called out five hours ahead of time to this last job at BJ's. And the manager goes, and granted, in California, the law is that you have to give 2 hours prior. And I gave like 5, maybe 6. And I get a call back from the manager saying, if you don't give me any more warning than 5 hours, I'm going to fire you. And I'm just like, what? Like, oh, where did that come from? I am born in the Bay Area. So yeah, I'm born and raised California. Which is why it's hard for me to leave here. I know that if I moved near other people that I know on here, like if I ended up moving in the neighborhood or something like that with other people who I know that I've met through either the drinking community or somewhere else, I know that I can move next to a neighbor that I already know, or near a neighbor that I already know. It's just that leaving family. It's just like my personality. I don't know if I can handle that. So I'd rather work my ass off and stay here. It's strange because like I know it would be a lot easier on me mentally and physically to just save up money here and then move to somewhere like Idaho or something like that. Because I'm not one to visit the beach, San Francisco used to be a place I would like to visit, but now it's hella fucking dirty. And all this area really offers me, if I had to be frank, are a couple bars that I used to go to, or I tend to go to, just because they have like decent beers, and I like to talk with a couple people that I do like to affiliate myself with, and the family thing, of course. So there's only like 3 cities I actually like to visit, and while I'm here. So, which I do from time to time, but at the same time, it's like I can't afford it, kind of, So, um, if I stay with the company that I am with right now for about 10 months, and or work about 2,000 hours, then I get a hefty bump in my pay, to where it's like, okay, so now what's going to happen is that you're involved in our stock market for this company, and then I get something like a $4 raise or something like that, to where it's like, okay, well now I'm making the money to live here. But of course, that pertains to me sticking with what I'm doing. Just keep going and keeping my head down. Not that I mind this job. It's just that if I can hit a fast forward button, I would. Fast forward me to like a month. And then just take out whatever bills out of the money that came out, whatever. It would have to be done. But fast forward me like a month, maybe 2, and I'll be set. And it's only a month, so it is whatever, but it's also like, I want this part over with, so working 2 jobs is not because I'm struggling. Like I said, it's because like I want to speed up this process no matter how tired I get. And my roommates right now are concerned, definitely, because they're just like, man, you're not giving yourself a day off. And I'm like, yes, but you guys want me out of here by sometime in June. It's not that's a forceful thing, but they told me like, we're hoping that you can move out in June because that gives you plenty of money to do so, and they're definitely right. It would just slow down the process of getting an apartment. That's all that would be. So instead, I'd be getting a room. But I can also see me, because of how I am and how my life's been, moving around a lot. I could see myself, if I end up getting a room with the people who I like and like leave me alone. And I've talked about this too. My personality does not mend well with a lot of other people sometimes, because I'm a really nice guy, raised well enough, but if someone asks me who's obviously fucking up, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Like this, for example, this situation. I was at a show 4 nights ago, after a shift at work, having a couple of beers. I felt lightly buzzed, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna text this person. So the group of friends that I'm involved with, they're quote unquote pansexual, so open relationships, stuff like that. And I honestly think it's just them trying to get out their urges. It's really just is what it is. But this one guy in particular, he's like, "Well, I'm really upset with you," and in my mind, and I almost blew up on him. I was like, "Why are you upset with me? Because you're dating a girl who's in an open relationship, is married, can't have kids, and you're looking for a relationship with a woman that wants kids, but you're sticking with her. What are you doing? Why aren't you mad at yourself?" Have no reason to be pissed off at me because I told her like, hey, I'm not even sure if you guys are gonna work out. Like, I'm worried about this because they keep fighting and stuff. And they've asked me about my opinion about it before, and I'm not as open to spilling it as obviously as I would be like if I had some beers in me, but because I did, I was pretty blunt with it. I wasn't lashing out at anybody. I was like, no, you guys should not be together, point blank. Because you guys, aside from the sex life, you guys had nothing going on, nothing. You know, because if he wants kids, he can't be with you because you already have 4. You're married, and you know your tubes are tied. So there's nothing there. Like no conceivable way that he's going to be able to have kids with you, and you guys are putting restrictions on each other. Like that makes sense. So, so yeah, I was like, yeah. I told them both. Like, I don't think you two should be with each other. And from him, the girl said nothing. From him, he was like, "Who are you to tell me that?" And I'm like, "I'm one of the guys you come to advice for about this shit. If you don't want to hear it, don't ask for my advice." You know. So, and I'm only doing it as a perspective of my own. Like, I don't live that same lifestyle. You know, I don't. I'm more interested in going on these morning walks before work than I am in sex. To be quite honest with you, like this, like looking at stuff at stuff like this to me is comforting. Before I clock in, you know, it's not like the most lavish, but it's pretty up there. It's there. Like I'm into that. You know, so like if I think relationship, I think, oh, you know, my only experience is long term. With a couple flings that I've had in the past 4 years, that's the kind of guy who I am. Like I actually had to be emotionally involved with a girl that kind of matches up with me. Not meet my standards per se, but like has the same vibe. So, but that's just from my perspective. And then like if my ideology changes someone else's mind, guess what? That just means that relationship wasn't strong in the first place. That means I'm right and get over it. So, so that's just how that went down. But anyway, yeah, that's just how I see things, and that's how I perceive things. Am I a flirt though? Oh hell yeah, I am. But I don't physically act on it unless if it gets like a little bit serious. So turned 35 this year. I'm still slightly childish. I understand that, but I'm also responsible enough to be aware of what I need to do. So, asking my best friend for financial advice is kind of like he knows some stuff, but he's never going to be in the position that I am. You know, like the house that he has, it's paid for, and not by him. It's by his family. So he doesn't know. He's always humble. He's always very respectful of my situation. If I've ever asked him for any advice, he would not truly know. He'll give it, but because he hasn't lived it, I feel he won't be able to tell me exactly what I would need to do. That's for me to figure out. So, so I'd run by ideas from him, and he'd be like, "Oh, that might work," or "I don't know about that." Usually, he has points too, so I do take his advice under consideration because he does truly care about me. So, other than that, it's also like, well, what if I did this? You know, plus getting that apartment and not paying rent for a year up front would relieve a lot of stress that I've had in the past 2 years. So I would really you really do is just going to work, going home, and then making sure bills are paid for as soon as I see them, and then relax, you know. So, plus I'd have a lot of fun, you know. Just I can picture myself like doing like either streams on Twitch where I'm just cooking, because Twitch doesn't really smile upon heavy drinking if it came to that. Or go on YouTube, do the same thing, and then have it like like an actual stream that I used to do. You know, full computer setup, headset, music, somewhere that people actually want to go. Because when I do my my hotel streams, like, yeah, people stop by and say hi and stuff like that, but no one actually joins up, because it's like it's not the same quality as it used to be. So by a long shot. If I'm doing it from a tablet, no, it's not. If I do it from a laptop, it could be, but that just depends. But yeah, I can picture myself cooking something, like doing like a long roast or something like that, having a few beers, maybe a couple shots or something, and like they saying for my day off. And, you know, doing fun stuff like that. Or if I do it on Twitch, you know, do the cooking, play League, and then have it that way. Because like if I'm cooking something during a stream, I'm going to be doing something that's probably going to take hours. I'm not going to grill up something that's going to be like really quick, like I usually do, like with my phone. It'd be like an event kind of thing, and it usually be something that once it's done, like a slow roast or something like that. Once it's done, yeah, I'm going to definitely eat it by the time it's done, because I'm probably going to be drunk, so I need to eat. Or and then the rest of it will be saved up for like lunches for work or something like that, you know. So because like working with meat and food, I know the price of everything, you know. Like a huge pork butt roast at like $1.98 a pound is cheap in California. That's cheap in California standards, because our minimum wage is so high. If you even make a minimum wage, it's still like $16 for like a big slab. Although pork's not good for you, eating it once in a while, it's not that bad either. Make a roast and they do like a pulled pork from the roast, and then have sandwiches of that. That's take a long time for $20, 16, $20. It's funny because I see these videos about people like, oh, I'm gonna challenge myself to live off of $20 a week or whatever, and they buy these crackers and cheeses and stuff like that, and I'm like, hell no, you cannot live off crackers like that. You know, maybe some people can, but me, no. I'm a big guy, so I need my protein. That's what fuels me up. Mine would be more like eggs and stuff like that, but if I like a roast, you know, you can even be like a beef roast or a chicken roast or whatever. Be involved in doing that, pop it in the oven, stuff like that. Or a grill if I end up getting into that. That'd be cool. And it's not too far off in the distance. So, you know, from the way I look at it, it's like, I'm going to say like 6 months, maybe. Less than 2 for me to get my own place. But 6 months probably. So, oh, should not walk into this part.
Oh, asking about is it going to be 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock? I think Bert even said it's going to be 8 o'clock.
don't know who Bert is, but he sounds like a liar. From here, I have about, I don't know, 20 minutes till I get to work. About 20 minutes. Fortunately, there's no sidewalk here. There is one over here, but it ends. And this is like the tricky part to get to work. Back in the day, I used to walk this same pathway. That's where the nomad side of my life comes into play, because people think that, oh, he doesn't have a car because he's irresponsible. Kind of. But if I invested myself into getting a car, I totally could. But my thing is that this walking gives me A, exercise, and B, it's a stress reliever for me, no matter how hot or cold it is. And cars just sound stressful. So it's part of my life. And small part of it was because I was in an accident when I was a kid. A car accident. Nothing fatal, but I was trapped for a good hour. So that was part of it. Got over that. And then in my 20s, when I was dating this girl, she got a car to where she could somewhat afford it, needed help. But I was there and be like, hey, once we get our own place, this car's going to be vital to us. So it only makes sense if I pay for some of it, help with bills. This girl gets into 2 to 3 car accidents. I don't remember. And then keeps her insurance. And then somewhere in $350 to $400 a month because of it. So knowing that, it's like, do I trust myself driving a car? Yes. Have I done it before? Sure. Of course I have. I know how to operate machinery. But say there's an off chance that I get in an accident, that would not be good for me mentally, whether it's my fault or not. So I'd much rather get the exercise, increase the length of my life by walking a few miles a day to work while we're driving. Because if I drove and got accustomed and used to it, I know for a fact that I would be so much lazier. So, like I said, I've driven pretty fucking old cars too, and I haven't driven a new one yet. But from what I've been told, these newer cars are 10 times easier to drive than the older ones were. It's almost automatic. So I know I could do it if I wanted it, but I don't. I really don't. Cars don't fascinate me. So technology does. Cars do not. Which is the most beta thing you can say in any bar. And but chicks out there will say, oh, you don't have a car? Psh, whatever. And then it's an instant turn off. Even if they have a car or not. If they don't have a car, they'll still say the same shit. And it's just well, whatever. This is me. So, rest in mind that I'm a working man and this is just the way I choose to live my life. What is in that barn? My friends actually ended up picking me up from right about here. So what I have with my roommates, and then when I move out, it's still going to be there because we're still going to be there for each other once I move. It's just that I need my own space, and they know that. So I have this app called 360 Life, It's where you turn on your notification, not your notifications, just turn on your location, and you get to know where your friends are at. Say that they get like they lost their phone or something like that. They can keep it on, or left at a restaurant. We immediately know where it is. We check the app, or if they get into some peril or something like that, which is the worst come to worst, we will know where the phone's located, so we'd have at least, the very least, an idea of where they are. We will know where the phone is. So we used that for yesterday because they said, "Oh, we saw you walking. We were just going to Home Depot, and wanted to see if you want to be picked up." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And all it was is just keeping the app on, and then you knew exactly where I was. I knew how to get there. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, if you don't want to know where if you don't want your friends to know your location off or turn the app off, and then you go about your business. But more often than not, we keep it on. Like for me and one other friend, we keep it on just in case we get too buzzed at a bar, and then we make a phone call. Okay, fuck, and then we know. I'm like, okay. That's only happened to me once, but at a bar. It was to the point where like I knew how to make the phone call, but my brain wasn't really computing Uber. But I went to relief call. Oh no! I'm sorry. That wasn't it. I didn't have the funds in the card that I was trying to use, so I gave up. So, sort of not being able to operate an app, but it was more of I did not have the debit card set up for the app, and I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm only down the road." If she doesn't pick up, I'll just block. But now I remember. But yeah, I mean, something that definitely helps. And you get people who go to karaoke and stuff like that, and they'll just say, "Hey, we're out. You want to meet up with us?" Which I can picture myself doing. Or you want to be picked up? I'm like, hell yeah, let's party. Or no, I got to work tomorrow morning. So, the only thing about this place is I don't necessarily have a set schedule. I just know that I work weekends. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's just 2 random days during the week. Because it also depends on if someone needed some time off or request time off, which I'm thinking about doing. But for the vacation that my friends are going on, they are going to be gone between the 23rd and the 28th of next month. So I'm thinking about requesting those dates off because I'll have the whole house to myself. Which then I can do whatever streaming, drinking that I want, and then not really have to worry if I choose to. But I don't think that's going to be too big of an option. Asking for almost a week off unpaid is kind of blasphemy. Maybe I could do a couple days, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to see where my mind goes. Because right now it's relaxed. Once I get to work, I'm going to be aggravated. Once I get off work, which tomorrow, for the first time in over a week, it's my one day off, where I can just do whatever. And by whatever, because of my current money situation, it's like you can stay home and eat, eat whatever, relax, watch a movie, do some laundry, or whatever. So. All right. These are pretty nice too. Granted, when I can help it, I'll be taking the bus. At first, when I started doing this walk as of yesterday, I was like, man, I don't want to walk to work before I have to work 8 hours. But when I did it yesterday, it was more relaxing. And the only reason why I didn't stream it is because it was raining. So, but anyway, I'm gonna take off. I'm getting close enough to work to where I need to get my mindset. So, y'all take care. Till next time.